Welcome to another episode of Roblox scripting tutorials. Today we're going to learn how to make a Star Wars themed morph GUI. This is something you guys have requested, so I decided I would do it for you guys. So first thing you're going to want to do is come up here to View and come over here to Toolbox and make sure that is grayed in so you can see this menu over here. And then come over to the side here and click Models and type in Phase 2 Clone. Or how about phase 2 clone morph? That should work. Phase 2 clone morph. And scroll down until you get to this one. The one by B and Dan. Open that up. And here we go. We have a couple of morphs here we can use. Wow, those are really bad. Okay. Let's type in clone phase 2. You know, I had a really good one earlier, so I'll just link that in the description. If I go down here to my recent models. There it is. Alright, we have this one here. I'll link this in the description so you guys can follow along. So we're going to come over here, and each morph has to be configured individually. So over in our Explorer menu, we're going to start with Cody, because Cody's right here. Open it up. Click on the head and move the shirt and pants up to the model that's named Cody. So it should look something like that. And then you can just delete the head. And we're going to do that for all of the morphs. So go over to Wolfie, open it, click on the head, move the pants and shirt up, and delete the head. And do that for the rest. Open up here, move those up, delete the head. Oh, that one doesn't have any. Alright, we just won't use that one now then. That's the thing when you work with free models, sometimes it doesn't give you everything you need to work with. Move those up. And the last one here, move these up. Alright, so now that we have everything configured, we can start putting the morphs together. So we're going to come up here, close off workspace, we don't need that open, come over to replicated storage, right click it, and come down to insert object, and then you're going to insert a folder. We're going to name this morphs. And then inside that morphs folder, we're going to make a new folder, one for each legion. So this one's going to be 212th, another one for 104th, another one for 501st, one for 327th, and one for 401st. And then we're going to take the morphs and put them in their designated folders for their legion. So we're going to take the Fox and Thorn morph, put it in 401st. The Bly morph, put it in 327. Captain Rex goes into 501st. Wolfie goes into 104th. And Cody into 212th. So we're going to come back out here and make a new folder. And we're going to name this one libs. So libs is just short for library. There's no reason to write out really long words if you don't need to. Save some time. Insert object. And then come down to module script. And we're going to name it divisions. So, I know most of you guys are learners, but for the more advanced people, you guys might know what this is. This is a more advanced type of script that I will cover in a later tutorial, but for now you just have to copy what I do. So we're going to change where it says module to divisions, and same down here where it says return divisions, and we're going to click enter inside those two brackets. And now we're going to make open bracket and close bracket, double tap again. And then inside those two brackets, we're going to do name equals, and then quotation marks, and then we have to do a semicolon, come down a line, group ID equals, and then then just semicolon. Just put a 0 there for now. And then that's it. So for each legion, you have to do this. So we're going to put a semicolon after the closing bracket, copy all that, come down the line and paste it. One for each legion. So 501st, 104th. If you don't know what legions, you can just open this Morphs folder back up. We need the 212th, 327th, 401st. Is that all? 5, 1, 2, 3. Yep, that's all. Alright, make sure where it says name is the exact same thing that it says over here, or else the script that we make won't work. If you want to make it so only people in certain groups can use the morphs, you want to change this group ID to that group ID. But if you don't, just leave it 0, and then we'll make it so the script knows that if it's 0, it's just going to make it so everybody can use it. So next thing we're going to want to do is come over to Starter GUI, right click, Insert Object, Screen GUI. So what we're doing now is we're making the on-screen menu that the user selects choose their morph. We're going to make it very simple for now just to show you how it works, and then in a later video, probably the next one or next two, we'll learn how to make it look better. So we're going to want to right click Screen GUI, Insert Object, Frame, and then we can resize this frame. So if you come over to Home, or Model, come over to the top Model, UI Editor, move this down, so you can just click and drag the GUI you want. Resize it to something maybe like that. Actually, we're not. Actually, yeah, this should be fine. Then we're gonna Control C, Control V to make a new frame, and we're gonna drag this one over right beside it. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it will get the job done. We're gonna click UI Editor again, so we can click that without it editing. Come over to the frame, the one on the left, we're going to name it Legions in the Properties menu. And the one on the right, we're going to name it Uniforms. And inside both of them, we want to go down to Insert Object and UI List Layout. And just copy and paste into the other one. And now inside the Legions one, we're going to add a button. Actually, you know what? We should make these scrolling frames instead of normal frames. So delete those. Insert Object, Scrolling Frame. Come over to UI Editor and Model. Resize them. Actually, this time we're going to put it under. Alright, there we go. So the top one this time is going to be Legions. And the bottom one is going to be Uniforms. Let's change the background color 3 to 30, 30, 30. And same thing for the uniforms. Looks better, in my opinion. And you can highlight both of them in the Explore menu to change them both at the same time. And we're going to change the border size pixel to 0 and the background transparency to 0.5. Awesome. Now come over to the Legions, add in the UI list layout again, and copy and paste it into the other one. Alright, actually I'm just going to move that down a bit so there's a bit of a space. Awesome. So now we're going to name our GUI Morph Selection. We're going to close those two, insert a new folder. We're going to name this one Scripts. And we're going to insert object and insert a local script, wherever that is, over here. Alright, so we're going to start programming this. So the reason why we put the local script inside the scripts folder is just to keep it more organized. Like if you didn't want to put it in the scripts folder, you don't have to, but I suggest you do. Alright, so we're going to start off our script by doing a dash dash, and then we're going to say morph GUI script dash dash today's date, and today's date is August 19th, 2017, and then you're going to put you're going to do made by, and then you're going to put your name. Mine is Captain Lettuce. So when we do dash dash, what we're doing is making a comment. So when the game runs, it actually doesn't do anything. It just passes over anything that has a dash dash in front of it. So this lets us put notes beside our code so we can remember. But it also helps us keep track of our code by. So when we open this, we'll see that it's the Morph GUI script, the day we made it, and just in case somebody steals it, they can see that it was made by you and not them. Come down 2 lines, and we're going to do dash dash. And then we're going to write constants. And then you can make it look all fancy by putting dashes under it too. And the dashes under and top will work because there's at least 2 dashes in it, which means it looks like a comment to the program. So what a constant is, it's kind of the same thing as a variable, except it doesn't change. So if we say like we're going to reference the base plate, so we do like game.workspace.baseplate, and we've made it local baseplate. So this is a variable, but because that variable is never going to change, we call it a constant. But it's written the same way as a variable. It's called a constant because like it's constant; it never changes at all. We don't need to reference the baseplate in this script though. What we do need to reference is this legions and uniforms frame over there. So we're going to do local legions frame equals script dot parent dot legions. And so it's script dot parent to parent because if you come over to the script, the first parent is scripts, the second parent is morph GUI, and then we go down to legions. And we're going to do the same thing for the uniforms GUI. Local uniforms GUI. Uniforms frame equals script.parent.parent.uniforms. And now we're going to come down a few. Do 1 to main. Put some dashes of above and below so we can clearly see we're entering the next phase of the project. Actually, we're going to have to make another constant. I forgot. Local morphs dir equals game.replicatedStorage.morphs. So what we're doing here is we're referencing the morph directory, which holds all our morphs. So it's in the game.replicatedStorage, then it's in the morphs folder. And we also want to access that libs folder, so local libs equals game.replicatedStorage.libs. So now we have to make a button for each legion or division, whatever you want to call them. So we're going to do that same loopy thing that we did in the last video for I, comma v, and then in pairs, open bracket or parenthesis, close parenthesis, and then we're going to write morphs dir get children do. So what this does, it opens up our morph dir folder, or our morphs folder over here, and for each one of its children, it's going to run a code. So each time it gets to one of these new folders, it's going to run a code. So what we're going to do is we're going to do local button equals instance.new text button. So what we're doing now is every time it gets to one of these legions, it's going to make a new button. And we make a new button by saying instance.new. So if you come over to our folder here and we see, if we make a new button, it will look like this. So if you come over to insert object and then text button, it'll look like that inside your GUI. So we want to resize it down in the properties menu, the size, change it to 1, 0, and then we'll leave that the same. We also want to change background transparency to 1. Come over down to the bottom, X, Y alignment, left, text color 3, we're going to change it to white. And we're going to change the size to, let's do 20. Or that's a bit small, 30. And we're going to change the font to bold. You guys can change it to whatever you want. I'm just doing this for me. So for an example, if the Legion was 501st, it would look like that. And when the player clicked it, it would select. Alright, so come back. We can delete. We're going to keep it now so we can reference it. So we're going to change the button that we just created, dot size equals udim2.new 10050. So that's the size of the button we just made, the 10050. You don't have to put the brackets inside the script because there's no reason to. For the program doesn't recognize if you put the brackets in, so just leave them out. udim2 is just the type of number that the text GUI uses. So every time we want to change the position or size of a text or like a GUI object, you need to use udim2.new. We're going to change the button dot background transparency to 1 because that's what we did over here. And we're going to change the button dot font equals source sans bold. The button dot text size equals 30. And button dot text x alignment equals left. And then we're going to do the button dot text equals v dot name. So what v is the object, the folder that we're currently working on. I'm going to make this bigger for you guys. I should have done that earlier. I apologize. The v is the object we're currently working on. So if we are currently on the 501st Legion and we do v.name, we're just going to access that 501st folder's name, which is 501st, so the button text will be 501st. And we want to do button.parent equal Legion's frame. So let's delete the button that we added earlier to test. And now come over to test and click play. And we can see that it added a new button for each of the legions. We forgot to change the color of it. You guys probably noticed that and like laughing at me at your computers. Button.text color 3 equals, so because this is not a brick, it's a text element, whatever, we have to do color 3.new, or not, sorry, not new, from RGB, which is from red, green, and blue, the 3 primary colors. And we're going to change it to white, so 255, 255, 255 is white. If you don't know what color you want, you can just come over here and change the color to whatever you want, and like just move around here, and it will tell you what color it is here. You can just simply copy and paste whatever it says here into your script. So let's try this now, and there we go, they should be white. Awesome. So now we have to do the same thing for the uniforms. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down here, button.mouse button 1 click connect function. We haven't talked about events yet, but what an event is a certain trigger that happens when something happens. That's a very terrible explanation, but I'll explain better. So every time we click the button with our left mouse button, button 1, as we say here, it will connect a function, or connect an event, sorry, which we can then use to make code. So every time somebody clicks a Legion, like a Legion button, we want to bring up the uniform menu. So first thing we're going to do is the uniforms frame. We're going to clear all, or no, sorry, we're not going to do that. We're going to do for I comma v in pairs uniforms frame get children do. So we're going to look at the uniforms frame and everything that's inside of it, and we're going to do if v dot class name equals text button, then v destroy, which basically gets rid of it. So when we first start, nothing's going to happen because there's no child in the uniforms frame that has the class name of text button. But when we open up, when we click the Legion and it draws the list, it's going to draw it with text buttons. So we want to get rid of all the old ones and replace it with the new ones. So after we do that, we're going to do come out of that for, come down a few, for I comma v in pairs. Actually, we're going to change these v's. We're going to change that v to v2 and this one to v3. It'll still work the same because it's a variable. So because we're using v up here, and we don't, if we wrote v here, it would override that v and replace it with that, but we don't want that because we still have to access that v. V get children do. So remember, v is the Legion folder. So for all the children inside that Legion folder, it's going to do this code. So we can just come up here, copy and paste all this, because it's going to be basically the same. Highlight it all, click tab twice, and we're just going to rename button here to button 2, change them all to button 2. And we're going to change the text to v3.name. So let's test this. So when we click 2/12, we'll see, let's come back to model or the script and make it parented to the uniforms frame, not the Legions frame. Play, so 2/12, we see that it makes a Cody thing. And when we click 1/04th, it deletes the Cody and replaces it with the new thing. Come up here to 401st, we can see that it replaces Wolfie with Fox and Thorn. So there we go. We've now created the basic building blocks for your Morph GUI. In the next video, we'll learn how to program it. Yeah. I want you guys to show me what you guys have. So in the Discord, go to the coding challenge and post pictures of what you guys have created. Try to create the most creative GUI you can. This is just a very simple one to show you guys how it works. If you want to save your project, click Alt-P, click Create New, and name it whatever you want. Star Wars Morph GUI, and then click Create Place. If you ever want to access that again, when you open up Studio and you're on this page, come over to where it says Games, and you can just simply open up that Star Wars Morph GUI game that we just made. Awesome. See you guys in the next video.